Nicola, we stand at a moment, both you and I now in New York, watching our continent from where we come from experience war. The human cost is acute. Let's just respond to, of course, how you're finding it. Facebook, Instagram, cutting off advertising from Russian state-backed media, you're labeling posts. Does it go far enough? Are you thinking about other moves you can make?
Well, first of all, Caroline, as you say, I mean, everybody's thinking about those affected by the war in Ukraine. I don't think any of us expected to see something like this at this time. We are taking extensive steps across all of our apps to ensure the safety of our community and also to support the people who are using our services, both in the Ukraine and all over the world as well. We've established a special operations center. It's working round the clock. It's responding to activity that we're seeing on our platforms in real time, and we're really closely, monitoring the situation. We've added several safety features, including the ability for people to lock their Facebook profile, removes the ability to view and be able to search friends lists, and encrypted one-to-one chats available on Instagram for all adults in the Ukraine and Russia as well. Now, and as you said, we have restricted access to Russian state media. We're globally demoting their content from Facebook pages and Instagram accounts. And we're also giving people more information on, to be able to decide what to read, trust, and share by adding warning labels on content that's rated as false.
Could you halt all ads in Russia, do you think?
Well, it's something that we are continuing to monitor very closely. We have already banned ads from Russian state media and preventing them from monetizing on our platforms anywhere in the world. We're adhering to the sanction requirements, but this is fast evolving, and as a company, we are actively looking at this at the moment.
And fast evolving for your clients too. What is their willingness to advertise at the moment? Because many might shy away when, in fear of looking insensitive.
Well, look, this is such a heartbreaking situation. So what we're seeing and what advertisers are thinking about, businesses, I think, at the moment, are just thinking about what they can do to help, how they can be helping to keep their people safe on the ground. And as I said, that's very much what we're focused on as well at this time.
Let's talk a little bit about what is also a good news story here in the United States today, which is jobs growth seemingly recovering. We're seeing a healing in the labor market of such. But what are you seeing in terms of the small businesses advertising on your platform at the moment? We talk about big business and how they're trying to respond to the geopolitical narrative. What about small businesses and their optimism?
Well, yeah, it is great news to see more people back in the workplace, but there's still 2 million fewer people employed than before the pandemic. And I am sorry to say that women are being disproportionately impacted. At Meta, we run a survey of small business owners. We've been doing it for many years, and it's one of the largest surveys of small businesses anywhere in the world. And in January, where we surveyed on the latest wave, it showed that unfortunately, a quarter of US women-led SMB doors were still shuttered, and that's compared to just 18% of male counterparts. And globally, those numbers are even worse, because the closure rates for women-led businesses have risen 6 percentage points since July last year, and that compares with little or no change for men. So that's not good news. One bit of good news that the survey's telling us, though, and the reason I'm highlighting women is we're in March. It's the International Women's Month, where there's so many things to celebrate women. Women are actually leading the way when it comes to the use of online tools, and actually 60% of women-led SMBs report using digital tools in order to be able to attract and communicate with customers, and that's compared to about half of men, less than half of men that are doing so.
I like your optimism there, but of course, we talk about the women in your data because it's the month of March, but also we talk about it because I'm looking at a participation rate of women that declined for the first time in 5 months. I'm looking at unemployment rate for black women in particular rising to 6.1% in the US, whereas your average unemployment is 3.8%. This is not an equal recovery. What is Meta doing about that internally and also for your clients too?
You're right, and our survey also tells us that that black-owned small businesses were 50% more likely than white-owned businesses to be closed, forced to lay off workers, and to have lower sales. So this is something that we've been thinking about for a long time in terms of what we can do. One of the things that we did earlier in the pandemic was to launch a $100 million grant program. And actually 50% of that money was available and dedicated specifically to women and diverse-led SMBs. But, it's something that we need to make sure that all of us are doing more on. And so one of the areas that we saw was an area particularly was around the fact that women don't have and underrepresented people do not have the same access to capital that men have. And we have a program called She Means Business. It's been running. I actually launched it back in 2016 in the UK. It's now global. We now have 1.5 million women around the world that have been trained in digital skills. And this March, one of the things that we're doing different from listening to the women, hearing about that challenge on financial literacy, is that we've expanded it now to have training courses on things like financial literacy, how to get access to capital, etc. So that's available on the She Means Business Hub.